What's up, guys? It's Chris. Here to talk about last night's fights and a few other things. If I could fit them in on this video. First up, be sure and check out the website, thewillbebloodfightshow.com. I'll put the link here over in the information part of the screen. Dave just had the site, the layout redesigned. It looks really nice, so be sure and check that out. If you get a chance, we appreciate the support. Moving on to the first fight of the night, WBC 140-pound title at stake, Junior Witter versus Devon Alexander. This fight pretty much went the way I thought it would for the most part, aside from the ending. I picked Devon Alexander to win the fight. I said it would be an ugly fight. I didn't think it would be entertaining just based on their styles. And that was pretty much the case in my opinion. You know, I thought it was a really ugly, hard fight to watch. It's just not that entertaining. You know, not that every fight's going to be, you know, gaudy ward, but it just wasn't the most appealing fight in my opinion. But I thought Alexander would win the fight, even though he's less experienced, just because Junior Witter's been very inconsistent throughout his career. The guy's got great gifts. He's got a lot of speed. He's got good natural power, but he just never seems to be able to put it all together in the big fights. And that was evident here once again, especially at the end of the fight. What do I think of the way the fight ended, you know? First off, I'm not disappointed because, as I said, the fight wasn't that exciting or entertaining, so I was glad to not have to see another 5-6 rounds of it. As for Witter, I don't understand why he quit necessarily, although I do, if nothing else, appreciate that in the interview afterwards in the locker room with Jim Gray, he was honest. He said it was his call for the most part, his and his corner's call, stopping the fight. He didn't try to bullshit. He didn't try to give a fake answer or, you know, say it was really nothing other than what it was. So give him credit for that, if nothing else. As for Devon Alexander, I was glad to see him win the title because throughout the fight, I never knew about the story they said about all the people he came up with in the gym. They were all either dead or in jail. He's the last man standing, including his own brother who's now in prison. Last man standing takes a lot of heart and a lot of dedication to be able to stick it out with all that going around you and to be able to win a world championship, you know. So a lot of credit to Devon Alexander. I have a lot of respect for him after hearing that and after seeing the fight. Funny thing real quick, after the fight, Corey Spinks was in the ring crying. I don't think it's funny. I mean, I don't like, you know, necessarily seeing a man cry, but I always like when Corey Spinks cries because he has this funny face he makes, you know. It's just funny if you see the fight again or if you see any Corey Spinks fight, just the face he makes with that initial outburst of tears, it's really funny or really amusing. I don't know. But anyways, moving on to the Timothy Bradley-Nate Campbell fight for the WBO 140-pound title. First off, shouts out to Gambino. He's new, recent to making videos on here, just started. I'm going to also put a link to his page over in the information part of the page. I'll probably also link up his predictions for this fight video. He told me a couple of different occasions that this fight was going to be determined by Timothy Bradley's headbutts. And he was right. You know, unfortunately you were right, Gambino. Not that, just the way the fight ended. That's why I say unfortunately, not that you were right, you know. Fight, you know, it was going pretty much the way I thought it would. I'd picked Bradley to win just because, based on activity. Thought he would throw and land more punches, you know, and he was doing that, definitely. Nate Campbell didn't look too good, you know, to be honest. I don't know if it was the increase in weight. I don't know if it's the age. I don't know what it is. He really wasn't getting off. Timothy Bradley was just landing a lot more punches, a lot busier, a lot more active. There were at least 3 headbutts. I want to say incidental, but Timothy Bradley probably was more the cause of them than was Nate Campbell, which is why, you know, Nate was damaged more, especially in the last one. Going into the third, you know, going into that last headbutt, like I said, Bradley was winning the fight in my opinion. However, the cut that ended up ultimately having why the fight was stopped was definitely caused by a headbutt. Forget what the referee says. He was covering his own ass. Absolutely was caused by a headbutt. Now, in regards to Nate Campbell, do I think he wanted the fight stopped there? Absolutely. Why do I think that is? Because if a fight stopped under 4 rounds by a cut, it goes to a no decision if it's caused by a headbutt. If it goes after that, it goes to the scorecards, which he probably would have lost. So Nate, being the intelligent fighter that he is, knew if he got the fight stopped there, it would go to a no decision. If the fight was ruled to be, if the cut was ruled to be caused by a headbutt, which I thought it was, and I'm sure he thought it was, going to be stopped for that reason. So he told his corner, told the doctor he couldn't see. Fight gets stopped. Unfortunately for Nate's cause, the referee deemed it ruled the cut stopped, caused by a punch. Wasn't the case. The announcers went over it, stated so themselves. The replay showed over and over. Nate went crazy. Great post-match interview back and forth with the fighters and the promoters. It's hard for me to fault, either fighter in this opinion. I watched a lot of people's videos before this on this fight. I think Nate Campbell was doing what he thought was best for his career. I'm sure he thought that cut would have been a problem later in the fight. Wanted to get out of there, safe, try to get a rematch. I can't really fault the man, Who am I to judge him, I'm just a guy on here watching his fights, So, I don't know if we're going to get the rematch, though. Didn't look like Gary Shaw was too interested unless there's going to be more money. Don King obviously wanted... Obviously, Nate's going to appeal to the California State Athletic Commission. I think he has a good case. I don't know if it will get overturned, but I think he has a good case on his hands based on the evidence. I would like to see a rematch, although I would pick Bradley to win based on what I saw in this fight. Gary Shaw seemed to be the only one, or the one that was least interested in the rematch, talking about, we need more money for the next fight because, Bradley's a champion. Well, Bradley was a champion for this fight, and so I don't see what the problem is. He didn't win a title in this fight, so Gary Shaw, shut your mouth, make the rematch. Do what's good for the sport, not just what's good for yourself. Anyways, so that's my thoughts on all that. Moving on. Speaking of this division, Friday night there was a fighter named Victor Cayo. Fought Julio Diaz on Friday Night Fights. Undefeated fighter. Won a fight easily against Julio the Kid Diaz, the former titleist at lightweight. Very impressive fighter out of the Dominican Republic. Very fast. Good hand speed, good movement. Had the style somewhat reminiscent of a Roy Jones, Andre Ward type fighter. Looked good in there. Even late when he had the fight won for sure, he still wasn't afraid to mix it up, trade. I've never seen him before, but I'm looking forward to him. He may be the future of this division. You never know. I mean, the guy's definitely under the radar now, but look for him to make some noise in the future. Victor Cayo, I believe his name is, or Cayo. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but look forward to seeing more of his fights. Also, watched a documentary yesterday on HBO called Assault in the Ring. Story of Louis Resto and Billy Collins fight back in 1982 or 83, I believe it was. Where there was a controversy over the gloves being stuffing taken out of the gloves and whatnot. Supposedly by Panama Lewis, the trainer of Resto at the time. Good documentary. Good to see, what went on, the history of it and everything that's happened afterwards in regards to the fighters and whatnot. However, I do think that the filmmaker somewhat exploited the situation at times, especially in regards to Resto trying to go to Collins' family's house, when Collins' family, obviously his father wanted nothing to do with it. And I think the filmmaker was trying to push the envelope and push things there, taking Resto to Collins' grave and stuff, doing things more so for the film itself than necessarily for what was best for the families and for Resto himself. Especially also in regards to ends with Resto kind of giving his case and telling, his side and coming clean, so to speak, to his family and friends and whatnot. I thought he kind of drug that on a little bit, once again, for the film's sake rather than for the fighter's sake. Kind of make really dramatic parts of the movie, but thought it was a bit exploitive, in my opinion. But anyways, either way, it's a good documentary. I recommend checking it out. Assault in the Ring. It'll be on HBO, I'm sure, replaying and also on demand. Couple last things. I'm also going to put a link up here in the information part to a user, Utterfree Creations. I think he's newer to making videos as well. He's from the Philippines. He's a very humble guy. He makes mostly highlight videos. Makes very, very great highlights. He's very talented, and he's very open-minded. He's very, level-headed. He kind of reminds me of Manny Pacquiao as far as person. Reminds me of his fellow countryman. So be sure and check out his page and subscribe. I think you'll really like the stuff he's doing over there. I know I do. Last but not least, Vernon Forrest's murder was previewed on, talked about on America's Most Wanted last night. They showed the video, surveillance video, the before, somewhat. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that or not. The guy's pulling into the gas station, a bit of the chase and whatnot, and one of the suspects. Hopefully this will help get the suspects caught, the perpetrators, whatever. It was definitely a bitch move that they did, especially the coward that shot Vernon in his back. I hope that fool gets caught and pays the price, not only by getting prison for life, but gets what's coming to him once he's locked up behind bars. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. Until next time, I'm out of here. Bye.